Now, over the years, people started wondering how he became Messi. In fact, I asked you this question a long time ago. I made a couple of videos sort of explaining it, but I never went deep dive. One of the things that's so interesting is that basically how she transformed in that transformation sort of affected Amelia becoming Miss Seat. And this transformation was on her because she actually chose to actually get this special ability. But in fact, some of you wondering if you've not seen the show or hear what Dr. Fuss says on the last couple episodes, that his science project is basically was the reason why he kicked out, but was stolen before he actually showed what he actually can do. Understanding his experiment was sort of half done. What was it? This experiment? This sort of experiment was a plant who easily connects to the person. This plant can actually drive your anger to the best of the abilities. In other words, increase anger just because of anything, just piss you off, create fights. And that was sort of the experiment of Dr. Flood, but he was half done. During this time, this experiment was stolen, that he wasn't sure who stole it to the last minute. He finally realized that Amelia, aka Miss Seed, stole this to go to Peace to meet Goldenheart. Now, this sort of experiment has a lot of questions. What actually happened and the effects and sort of transformation of Miss Seed. Believe it or not, there is a small document was leaked by Peace that actually found what actually helped Amelia, but still leaves a lot of questions. What happened in between? What is the sort of the evolution becoming her? Believe it or not, it's sort of more confusing and really is because you think she was always like this. Maybe not. And this is sort of the theory on this video. Everything she was happening or doing is technically is not her. It's in fact her ability sort of forcing her to do certain things to actually be satisfied or at least understand her full ability. Even that, believe it or not, the document sort of hints that Amelia, aka Missy, not yet fully realized her special ability, or at least not unlocked. At least that's how I actually read it. Now, before I continue, my name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation, not just animation, to talk about reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, and sometimes, if I have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, if you like how it's going, you'd like to help my channel, put like, comment, and subscribe. That's all you need to do. If you don't, that's fine. If you do, thank you for everyone who does that, because every little thing helps my channel because how small I am. In fact, I'm getting close to my goal to 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to you, I'm getting closer. Now, let's talk about the transformation of the Cecilia to Miss Sig. What happened to her and all her responsibilities, what she does, maybe wasn't her fault, is her special ability. Now, let's talk about that specific theory. Now, the document of peace did state when she signed the paperwork, she admitted she made a decision to do this experiment. Everything what happened is on her. But it's interesting what they did to her on this document and the side effects. They sound so familiar that I have to recheck it to make sense. I get to that there later on. I explain it myself. But one of the things that's so interesting is the fact the plant she stole of Dr. Flood was sort of operated on her. The plant, they don't explain by detail, but they said they planted in her. So the effects of the plant, the give a hatred, was sort of planted inside of her to help her steam ability to actually work. Now her original ability is basically to make liquid into steam. And that's basically what her full extent really is, but not fully realizing what can actually do with it. But even that, her tinted pink color was sort of there because it's still not fully explained, and the leaked image is not helping because it's sort of kind of filtered with a bluish kind of tint that I'm not 100% sure she was pink before or pink after, because in the timeline it's sort of kind of goosey loosey, because when you meet Missy, she was sort of pinkish, and she's told the plant and goes to Peace. But once again, the photo is just sort of have a filter, so I'm not sure this is before the transformation or after. Because the next thing I'm about to talk about is sort of interesting because when she actually operated after a couple of hours ago, that she started to lose a lot of weight. And this is the direct words of the paper. They say she was transforming to something else that really doesn't realize what it was. One of the side effects is she losing a lot of weight. She was dehydrated and being a little delusional. And that makes a lot of sense because in the login book of Dr. Freud in Dementia's Diary, a back of the whole book, he has sort of a conversation with Mesite. He's sort of his interpretation, his relation to her, and everything he says really kind of aligns what this document says. That she always was afraid being alone. She always wanted me for some reason in the middle of the night without any explanation. She just wanted me be there with her. And Dr. Fred really didn't understood why she did this. Maybe she was sort of needy, maybe she was sort of broken, but it makes sense. Maybe she's still dealing with the side effects of this sort of ability she has. She's not really fully control or understand what she is. Because in the document, it says she was sort of scared understanding her ability. She's unlocked this new ability after the operation. But weirdly enough, she was sort of intoxicated using her abilities on herself. In other words, she was basically drugging herself with her own new ability, making that sort of love obsessive compulsiveness, but the effects is paranoia and loneliness. That means she sort of unlocked the plant, but at the same time, maybe not part of the plant, it's also part of her emotions, her feelings, sort of amplify that special ability. But interesting enough, I found it fascinating she was using her ability on her. Honestly, I'm not sure why she did this, but I have to theorize. I think she wanted has sort of a what's the best word? A, a cure of it, sort of a defense of her special ability, so she cannot be used by the same chemicals she actually comes out of her. Just sort of get used to it and not be sort of addicted to it. This is I found that sort of fascinating. Even that the document says this operation there are 40 to 50% chance she will actually die, and she actually understood that and agreed whether things would happen to her. But yet, makes things sort of interesting that the people were sort of actually understanding what she was doing and analyze her. They point out something. They gave a special drug to her to help her out every 2 weeks. That she had to visit the clinic once every 2 weeks to check her abilities and her health and mental status. Even that, it points out in the document that Peace never gave her a sort of a psychological value after the operation, after the abilities were sort of awakened. I guess Peace was sort of convinced what they needed for her is basically take down Black Cat. Of course, that's sort of how I read it because in the document, lot of the words were sort of erased, black line. So you don't know what's the sort of major goal of this experiment of Cecilia. But one of the end sentence of that sort of omitted sentence say something about Black Cat. So we don't know if the piece understand Black Hat is a person, not an organization, or it's just saying Black Hat as an organization. It's sort of your interpretation. But it was the goal is taking down Black Hat if they use the words Black Hat. So I choose to understand she was sort of kind of the ace in the hole or sort of the guinea pig if they control Black Hat, the power of Cecilia, or aka Missy, special abilities to actually control Black Hat and sort of eliminate or at least contain him of social locations. That makes so much sense why they use Cecilia. But also, her special ability kind of make her very needy, very wanted. Because I think this is the reason why how she acts. Of course, you have other theories. The reason how she acts, the reason why she chose things. She was sort of gaslighted by Peace, or gaslighted by her own father, or this is the only reason gets her father to actually notice her and actually give her respect. At least those are a few theories, the reason how she acts. But this document, after I read it again and again, it makes sense that her special abilities instead of intoxicating her, in fact, make her addicted to becoming mesite. The reason why she have that sort of hard eyes on her is that her pupils is that meaning she's basically uh, using her her own special ability as sort of addiction that sort of opens eyes a little bit more. This shows you she is basically using her special ability to affect her, to make her happy, sort of like a drug. And that I feel makes so more sense if you choose this to be possibility, the reason how she acts. Of course, now to be truly honest on this document does says they didn't need to actually do a diagnostic because she never shows symptoms of sort of delusion. At least what they feel that good enough. But once more, it's sort of kind of shady of Peace not actually going the extra mile to make the sure the subject matter doesn't go crazy delusional. I feel that was sort of good enough. I feel that's the reason I felt that sort of kind of shaky. But on top of all this, we don't know that was the whole point of Peace of making her the weapon or the guinea pig of Black Cat, because Missy is the one who really suggested her abilities can actually use by actually villains to actually control them. But it was sort of kind of talked around the organization or whoever was in charge of this project, saying maybe we can use this for Black Cat. But of course, we don't know who was suggesting it or the leader of this project in Peace, who could be the father of Peace or someone else, we don't know. But I found it fascinating that Miss Seed, her affected or abilities does affect other people. Yeah, I don't mean emotionally. I mean when she actually controls someone after they get released, they do have very similar effect what happened to her and the moments that Dr. Flug, his letter behind the book of the login book of Dr. Flug and uh, Dementia's diary did state she was sort of kind of paranoid and doesn't want to be left alone and maybe some delusion. But not exact words. It's almost if you read it and remember those three words I said, you do interpret that. And you feel that's the effect whoever she control have the effect. That sort of paranoia, that sort of delusion, that sort of kind of hydration because she did lose a lot of weight doing this transformation. On top of this, she regained that weight, becoming Miss Seat. Of course, I'm wondering the pink status is what she is, or that's the actual ability given to her after the transformation. But on top of all this, that how they explain how her steam ability actually work is actually burning all her water liquids inside her. This is why she has hydration. But this is the way she sort of activates her steam ability. But yet, it seems to me she may have the second ability hidden of her besides the steam ability, and on top of the sort of self-control people by love ability by the plant. Because with their steam, there's heat. And she does, in the report says, a lot of her heat does go very high up. Very dangerous, but yet that means she never really released her special ability, or at least not the full complete version. In other words, she must have a fire ability under her because the only way to do steam is melt water. But that is the question. This is hurting her, or is that ability is not yet locked because she doesn't know how to unlock it? That means a lot of questions, and also it means that everything she does isn't her fault. If her ability amplifies everything she has to do you still believe Miss Seed is still innocent? Even that is could be true. Everything she does is because of her abilities. Everything she wants is because her addicted to her powers. That side effect. That could a possibility also sort of explains why she transformed and what happens. It also kind of explains the side effects of the rest of the people, especially the broken brainwash, because it does links to the plant. If the plant realize or you're all the effect of the plant, you feel all the anger out, but automatically you grit it. That's the whole point. The control breaks off. Yeah, I feel that's sort of not well thought of because that could be a major weakness. But maybe they thought they'd go around it. I thought that's sort of strange, but that's just me. Now, what do you think about this theory? You do believe she'd be blamed, or you think she was special ability is her not her fault, is her ability? Tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Nothing else to say. Just thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.